return. And now the second quarter just getting set to start. And what do you consider how the Kings are doing? Stephen Clark, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, this team is on the same page, no question. They're right where they need to be offensively.
And they're hitting their scores with on-time and on-target passes, too. That's fun to watch.
So Duncan sitting on the bench. Here's how the floor looks for Greg Popovich. They've got Gary Neal. And Bonner is out there with Splitter. And it's Steven Jackson. And it's Ginobili at the shooting guard. Let's go now to the sideline and catch up with Doris Burke. Hey, Doris.
Hey, Kevin. Tim Duncan, as you know, has been such a great leader for this Spurs team over the years. He won't hesitate to lead vocally, but he doesn't talk down. Coach Popovich says he commands that type of respect because he doesn't demand it, if that makes sense. Pop said that Duncan's strong sense of self gives him that security. Duncan said, it sounds somewhat arrogant, but I like who I am, and I like how I do things. I try to be that way. Kevin?
And Doris, I think you could say that calm confidence permeates this Spurs team.
And a breakthrough season for Thiago Splitter last year. He scored much more efficiently, and now you could argue he's possibly the best backup center in the NBA.
Thomas kicks to Garcia. Over Bonner. Here's Hayes. And a missed layup. Spurs trail by 4. Bonner Ginobili on the way. Another shot.
Well, until recently, he was one of the top big men in Europe. Now in the NBA, he's really showing what he's got at both ends of the floor. An active big man, he can run the floor, he can rebound, block shots, and score a little bit as well.
Yeah, you know, a vocal 7-footer with a good basketball IQ. He's a factor on the offensive end, boosting that box score with those second chance points. Catching up on the changes for Sacramento. DeMarcus Cousins, he's checked in for Hayes. Evans comes in for Francisco Garcia. Marcus Thornton, he's checked in for Jimmer Fredette. And it's Brooks in for Isaiah Thomas. And for Splitter, a terrific player in Europe. He struggled at times in his rookie season. In fact, even started to wonder if his game would even translate part to the NBA.
Not surprising that he had some bumps last year. It's difficult making the adjustment from Europe to the NBA as a big guy. But nonetheless, he's shown that he can compete at this level. A skilled player, and he's just now entering his prime.
Unloads from 13. And it's going to be out of bounds. The Spurs will take Chuck Hayes. He's checked in for DeMarcus Cousins. And San Antonio also making a switch. Ginobili's checked in. Parker outside. Now the pass to Ginobili. Passes it to Leonard. Duncan up on top. Feeds it to Parker. Double team on Parker. Thompson comes with the double team. San Antonio again missing. The Kings have gone only 2 of 7 from the field since the second quarter got underway.
Last season was the 6th straight, Kevin, where the Kings failed to make the playoffs. And really, they haven't been in postseason contention for any of those 6 years.
Ginobili against Thornton. Smooth as silk on the finger roll. Ginobili's got 4 points now in the quarter.
And he's starting to pick things up here after a tough first quarter.
You're right, 6 years, but it seems much longer than that for some reason. Better for the Kings. They're so used to making the playoffs and the years leading up to this drought.
Well, prior to that, Kevin, they had made the playoffs 8 consecutive years before this 6-year drought. So, boy, it's been a strange run for Sacramento. Some ups and downs, and let's hope they can get this thing turned back in the right direction.
Time called here. The Spurs decide to talk it over. Some changes for Sacramento. Robinson comes in for Jason Thompson. And it's Jimmer Fredette in for Aaron Brooks. So San Antonio going with an almost entirely new group here. Matt Bonner, he's checked in for Duncan. Splitter comes in for Boris Diaw. Steven Jackson's checked in for Kawhi Leonard. And Gary Neal subbed in for Manu Ginobili. Shots good by Neal.
Well, Keith Smart took over for the Kings on an interim basis last year. That's the 3rd time that he's he's taken over that role in his NBA career. Coached 49 games in Cleveland. Also took over for Golden State 2 seasons ago. But the Kings gave him an extension, and he's the head coach in Sacramento now. What a quick response. Give up a 3, get a 3.
They're a pretty resilient team. I'll give them that. You got to respect them for coming back that way.
Let's check out what Doris Burkhead threw.
Kevin, the unselfish culture of the San Antonio Spurs is much admired, but not often replicated around the league. Coach Popovich explained what he thinks has been a big part of it, saying, quote, "I'm very fortunate in that I didn't have to deal with a star's ego. I dealt with grown-ups who had character and values, that sort of thing. Timmy came along, David Robinson understood his talent and made it very easy for Tim to become the go-to guy. As Tim got older, he understood the value of Manu and Tony and was able to share that spotlight with them. I never had a talk, I never had a discussion, a meeting, or anything with any of those guys about that. We just did it. And it's because of their character that we were able to do it." Kevin, tremendous guys, all 3.
Once again, that unselfishness and lack of ego, Doris, so impressive. Thornton off a pick from Robinson. Second chance shot. Rebounded by the Spurs.
He got the shot he wanted off that pick, just couldn't get it to fall.
But Steve, they'll take that play all day long. 10 times out of 10. That was good action.
Here's Parker. The shot is off. It's all tied in Sacramento. And coming up after the break, it'll be Damon Bruce breaking down all the highlights from the first half of play.